Noi italiani non abbiamo mai.
Us Italians have never appreciated and understood bowrider motorboats, which means with open bow. Then Cranchi E26 Rider arrived. The project is by Cranchi with the artistic direction of Christian Grande. It has the same hull as the E26 Classic, but the deck is completely different. Why should we like it? Because it's a limousine. Imagine your guests sitting on these sofas, so elegant, sinuous, welcoming. Maybe it could be the private taxi of a luxury hotel, here on Lake Como. The pilot seats rotate 360 degrees, but I believe this is also a super yacht tender, and in fact they have foreseen the possibility to choose the colour in analogue to the motherboat, painting the hull and the deck. Truthfully, it's very versatile. It could also be a rental boat, given the capacity of seats, or a wakeboarder boat, setting the roll bar and supports for the boards. The backrests run along the sides and aft around the cockpit, leaving a central gap as a corridor to embark and disembark. Have you ever sailed in the evening or at night? The air can be cool even in the height of summer, especially near the Alps, like here. That's why they extended the windshield on the sides and wonderfully connected it with the coats. You go to the bow by opening the windshield and this area. When the waters are calm, the navigation is magnificent. It is padded all around, so it's safer. There are not only sofas, these are real chaises longue, and there is space in the centre for a small table, the same one that we can set even in the cockpit. The search for a pure and refined style has led to inserting the handles and speakers in a mast step to make them less visible. Under the two consoles there are, on one side, the toilet and on the other, the fridge. Among the available equipment you can find the extensions to form a sun deck at the bow and another at the stern. It is also comfortable in the mooring phases.
Proviamo il Cranchi E26 Rider.
Let's try the Cranchi E26 Rider on the upper Lake Como on a very windy day. They equipped it with a 350 horsepower Mercury outboard. On the bridge there is also the command of the interceptors, but are they of any use?
Lo porto in planata. A 11 nodi e 3000 giri.
I carry it to surf at 11 knots and 3000 RPM. The angle of incidence is not exaggerated, so the inceptors are not needed. In a situation like this, with only the pilot and the crew on board.
Actually,
on a motorboat like this, with so many seats scattered along the keel axis,
conta parecchio la distribuzione del peso.
The weight distribution counts a lot, and therefore situations could occur in which the interceptors become necessary. When you take your guests aboard, make sure that they are evenly distributed, to starboard and to the left, so you have no problems with balancing and you can navigate it well. If the waters are calm there in front, it's really comfortable. Leaning on the backs of the chaise longue is a privileged position. However, if the waters are rough, for you who is driving the boat, it is advisable that the crew or guests all sit more or less near the centre of gravity, in this area. If the waters are very rough and you want your guests in a condition of maximum comfort, then bring them in the stern. In this case, the interceptors will be useful again to adjust the setup.
a 4.000 giri.
At 4,000 RPM, we sail at 20 knots, 21 knots.
Le onde sono piuttosto ripide, ma la
The waves are quite steep, but the hull crosses them beautifully.
Cranchi non ha voluto rinunciare al design.
Cranchi did not want to give up the design of the hull. On a boat like this, with a lowered profile, the hull has an aesthetic importance too. So they decided to create an almost vertical forehand, which has dynamic as well as aesthetic advantages.
With
this type of configuration, it is possible to increase the waterline length, which makes the boat more stable and also hydrodynamically more efficient. At 20 knots, the fuel consumption is about 30 litres per hour. You just have to use a shrewdness with this type of bow. Keep it out of the water, keep it high. If you sail in ideal conditions, there is no problem. If instead you meet a very high wave or cross the wake of other boats, then you have to make sure to face these waves not with a narrow angle of incidence, not parallel but orthogonally. Have I made myself clear? You have better control. With an engine at 4,200 RPM, I preferred giving it a bit of trim, 20%, and we're at 27 knots of speed. Consumption at this time is 45 litres per hour. It happened as well when I was navigating the twin boat, the model E26 Classic. I must say that the agility of this boat is one of the characteristics that makes it more pleasant, more enjoyable. They installed the roll bar arch with the support for the boards. To be able to create an ideal wave for the wakeboarder, it would need a little more weight at the stern. But anyway, if you want to admire it, let the people sit on board at the end aft and automatically you'll raise a slightly larger wave. But now we don't want to create a wave, now we want to go fast. Down with the throttle, up the trim. As usual, I have not used the flaps before. Neither will I use them now. I let it run. And I must say, it does it easily. I am not busy at all and we're at 42 knots. Maybe, just maybe, I can still raise the trim. I feel it even lighter on the water. I'm at 6,400 RPM. Ah, great. We're at 43 knots and a half. And now a moment of attention. This almost 8 metres long boat costs €59,000, excluding the engine and the fees. But with all this luxury, it's not much. If I had a villa on the lake, I would buy it to take my friends to see this sight from the water.